Alright, so today I want to make a holographic Halloween tumbler, a resin tumbler. So I'm starting with this awesome chunky glitter that I got from Amazon, and I will link it in the description. It's absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you can see it, but it's so pretty. So we're going to be using that. We're also going to need a prime tumbler, or you can get these tumblers from Michael's and you can just lightly sand them, which is what I'm going to do. You just take your sanding block and just sand it just enough to scuff up the surface, and then wipe the whole thing down with alcohol. Make sure it's super clean. A softer sanding block than this works better, one that you can wrap around the tumbler, and just give it a light sand across the whole thing. We're going to need our Tumbler Turner, and we're going to need these cute little, they kind of remind me of Jack Skellington, but I guess they're little skeleton faces. I got these off Amazon as well. I think they sell them in a few other places, but they're really, really cute. We're going to need our Tumbler Turner, and we're going to need a 2-part epoxy resin. I have mixed up 20 ml of epoxy resin, which I've got right here, which we'll put over the cup. So I'm just going to give this cup a quick sand, and then I will be back. All right, so we've got our little cup ring saver on our tumbler. I've been using these instead of A, risking getting resin in the cup, or B, taping it because I'm super lazy. So we're just going to put our cup onto the turner. And now we are going to start this up, and we're going to coat this with our resin. All right, so I'm first going to coat this with the resin, and you just want a very thin coat of resin. You don't want too much on here. You can alternatively do this another way. You can do the spray glue, or you can Mod Podge this. I find this works the best for me. It's easy and it's fast, and it just works really well. But you don't want too thick of a coat. If you get this on here too thick, it will leave you with lumps and drips. And you can sand them off, but that's another pain, so you really don't want to do that as well. So just a thin coat. Get it as thin as you can, and then get it even as you can. My first goal here is just to get the cup coated. And of course, I spilled resin here a second ago, which is why I'm dipping onto my mat. But try to get nice, even, thin coat. Get this even on your turner as well, otherwise you also have drips, which I'm struggling with today, as you can see. There we go. That should help if you have it on all the way. So get the nice, even coat. You can let it turn for a minute. If you have any air bubbles in your resin, you can just give it a quick shot with, I find the creme brulee torch works the best. So definitely, if you don't have one of those and you use resin, definitely grab yourself one of those. They're a wonderful item, and they're not very expensive. Okay, so I'm going to let this turn for a couple minutes and just even itself out. The resin is self-leveling, so it'll level itself out, and then you can start adding your glitter. All right, so we're all ready for our glitter, and I've got it in a little container here. I'm just going to sprinkle this on, and I made a big mess of my silicone mat, so I have put some paper towels down here. So we're just going to cover the whole tumbler with this glitter, and I was going to dump it on with the lid off, but I've noticed it's all different sizes, so I'm just going to use the shaker, and that's going to work just fine. You don't even have to cover the whole tumbler if you don't wish to. You can leave it kind of with little speckles inside where the base of the tumbler is still showing. But I'm going to cover it. It's a really pretty glitter. I like this one. You probably can't tell from the video, but it's pretty much every color. Like, it's just gorgeous. It reflects beautifully in the light. I can't wait to finish this one. This one would even look great without the little faces on it. Just plain glitter. And don't forget to get the bottom of your tumbler as well. All right, so I think we've got that covered. And now what we do is we just let this cure until tomorrow, and then we're going to mix up some more resin and coat on top of the glitter so the glitter is permanent. And I'll be back. All right, so our tumbler is cured today, and I don't know if you can tell how absolutely gorgeous that glitter is. Just look at that. It's so, so pretty. I hope the camera's picking it up. It's just gorgeous. So now we're going to take it off the turner and we're going to put on our little skeleton heads. You don't have to do that. You can leave it just the way it is. It's an absolutely gorgeous tumbler the way it is. It would need one more coat of resin on it, and then you'd be good to use this just as a tumbler the way it is, but I want to put the little heads on it. So let's get started. All right, so I've got all my little skull faces here, and you can even paint these if you don't want them to be white. I'm just going to use a Gorilla Super Glue, which seems to work quite well. You can pretty much use any glue on this. I'm just going to use this because I know it will adhere fairly quickly. Whoops. You have to hold that on there for a second. You can also use some UV resin if that would be easier for you. All right, so we have all of our heads glued on, and now we're going to mix up some epoxy resin and head back over to the Tumbler Turner to seal it. Edge saver here again. Perfect. And I'm just going to put this onto my turner. And now we're going to recoat this with another layer of epoxy resin. And then we're going to let it cure. You want to make sure you get the resin on top of the little skulls because we're literally sealing them in. They can have little gaps behind them, so we want to make sure we seal them in properly. We don't want any liquid or anything to get in behind them because that will make them A, come off, and B, could make them mold. So you want to make sure they are sealed properly. And this does need another coat of resin as well to go over the glitter, as it is still a little chunky on the top. So we want it to be nice and smooth. So I did about, I think about 25 mils of epoxy resin, which should be enough to do this. always make sure you get the bottom of your cup as well. I did have some drips here, so I'm just reclaiming my dripped. All right, so I will be back after I've got this all on here and we're cured up, which will be tomorrow. So I will be back. And here is our finished tumbler. I think it turned out quite nice. I think this is going to end up being one of my new favorites. What do you guys think? Do you love it or hate it? Do you like it better without the little faces or with? I think it's pretty. Thanks so much for watching. I put out at least one new video every week, so please do subscribe, and thanks so much for watching.